So welcome to video 3 of the Copilot chat series, and of course AI in Dynamics 365 Business Central. And what we are looking at today is we definitely have already looked at the ask mode, and you just toggle or you change from ask to edit. You don't toggle, you just change it to edit. And of course, already telling you that AI responses might be inaccurate. And what we'd like to do is just build using the edit. So ask is the safe mode where it doesn't alter your file, it does not change anything. Edit is a bit more risky because edit goes ahead and modifies your file with the suggestions that you are saying. So in the ideal scenario, you will basically query Copilot or an AI model and move ahead and copy the file and change the parts that you want to update and then test it. But with the edit mode, it does the real-time editing.
Hii ni Tech na Msangi ya jishinde.com.
So for me to just make it faster, there is an option also to record the chat or to record what I'd like to give, the prompt that I want to give to my Copilot chat. So for this prompt, I'm saying this. Let's start with the prompt with the recording side, and I'll say, so create a Dynamics 365 Business Central AL programming application that will manage a music band, and it will enable them to set the schedules for their bookings and be able also to manage the different clients and manage the times for practice and the instruments that they're using and everything that they need to do on a day-to-day basis. Include modes for payments. Oh geez, so I took a pause there, but of course let's see what it will do with this. So the first step, the beauty here is how it looks at, it shows you the procedure of what it's doing. I'll create a comprehensive AL extension for Business Central to manage music band operations, and I'll start with defining the entities like tables, band members, instruments. I will create the pages, I will implement the scheduling functionality for booking, and then add code units, then create the reports. And nothing has been accepted yet from this side of things. But when you look at it has started with app.json. I don't know why it needed to modify the app ID. So that is one of the things that I can reject from this GUID because I don't see the difference. It's already published, but I'll test and see if it will publish another version. But of course, giving a description of the app because it didn't have. And now it's going to application version 20. So this app.json, I will definitely undo because I don't like what it's doing from the app.json side. So very important, always review whatever AI is generating. Sometimes it generates things that are wrong. So there is a table for band members, and then it's going to the page. So we'll review step by step. For this, I will definitely not keep. I will undo. But let me wait for it to finish. I can go, using this arrow, I can go to the next change that has been modified and decide whether to keep it or not keep it. So let me start. I'll go here. So once it finishes, I can undo from this edit because I don't want any ID and the name of the app to be changed. But of course, the name Music Band Management makes more sense than the name Copilot. And of course, the brief and the description. I can change a few things here. So if I change this, nothing will work. Okay, so allow downloading symbol is true. So at least it's protecting my file. It's changing it to false. Runtime still needs to be 15 because I'm using the latest version, that is Dynamics 365 BC version 2025 release wave. That's version 26, release wave 1. Okay, let's move to the next edit that is getting suggested. Okay, so there is a whole band member table with the member ID, the name, the phone number, the email, primary instrument, the join date, what is their status, are they active, inactive, on leave, and then any additional notes. So still sounds good. Let me see the next table. The next table is the instrument. It has the different categories, which is an option. Okay, serial number. So this one will store all the instruments that the band contains. Let's go to the next one. The client's information. So primarily, since it's an extension, client information will be stored in the customer. So we don't really need such another table to store the client information. This is something that ideally should be removed. Let me go to the next. The next is the booking information, but booking is linking to the client. For this purpose of the demonstration, I will stick to the client information. I won't change much from that side of things. I can go to the practice session. So there's a session number, the date, the start time, the end time, where was the session done, was it scheduled, was it cancelled, and of course, now set list, set line, practice attendance. Of course, now this is a good one to have to see how the attendance of the band, who attended when and the dates, booking assignment, and of course there is a band member card and all that. So I will go back again to the first edit. That will be the edit number one. Here, I'd like to undo this part, just this part. So you have the option of choosing a specific part and undoing a specific part, not the whole part. Like you can choose if I don't like what this suggestion is doing, I can change it. I'll accept this, but undo this, of course. And then now that one, I've done the editing for that. For the band member and the instrument, I will keep. But the other option that we can have, as we saw in the last video, with the instrument and the band member and the files that have been generated, we can just save this information without keeping and then look at the result and determine if this is what we wanted before keeping everything. So we can save, but we haven't actually accepted everything, and it will determine whether this information is final. And when you look at what the extension is doing, it's divided them into pages, tables. I can go ahead and save everything and test in the application. If this is really rapid and I'd really love to see, instead of moving through the code, I can test it since it's a dev extension. You're able to confirm whether the changes that have been done are actually really reflecting what you really wanted to achieve. So there is venue repeated. Let me just add this to just give it the group. And this is the power of Claude, because look at the errors. Very few errors have been witnessed from the Claude AI, the model that we are using. And this is really impressive from the Business Central perspective. And now here I can just finally save what's happening. Just a moment. So it is saying this one is longer than 20 characters, and we can just say a 10 for attendance and save it, and maybe it will ruin a certain sub from here because of the reference. Attendance, I could just have removed the sub form, and definitely here let's publish the extension without keeping. This is one option where you test and then come back later and keep it later. So I'm envisioning something where you are in a meeting with the client and they share a PDF file of what their request could be. You add the content from a blank Visual Studio Code, and then you test every functionality and you confirm whether it will work or not. So what's missing is a profile and RoleCenter for the music here, this band. Let me add a profile, add a RoleCenter page and a profile to manage for the band management. So this mode, whatever I have prompted, is to now see a complete RoleCenter page with a profile that will be linked to that particular RoleCenter. Okay. So as it creates the RoleCenter, we still have the list pages that we can test. And one of them is the maybe the setup card. Or let's look at what. So band member, for example, band member. Band members, it's a list here, and I can create, specify the member ID 001, the name. I can say maybe a random name here with a random phone number. Boom. No validation yet with an email primary instrument for this particular member, which is the instrument, and it's selecting from a list of the instruments. So when did they join? What is their status? Any additional notes for this band member? Now I can even go ahead now from now this page alone, after keeping, and let me go to the next. What is happening here? I don't want to change that. The reference was okay because we renamed, but I'd like now to keep this RoleCenter page, and let me see. So we do have this extension. So the profile seems to be doing its own things here. That's why we need to be in full control of what is happening. But of course, here there is a profile ID, which is a property that is not relevant. But again, there is a profile object that has been created with the attachment to the RoleCenter. What this means now, I can allocate the band manager profile to myself, where now, as I log in, I have access to the relevant information about the band, this particular band, based on the profile that I will have allocated myself. Let's go to the RoleCenter again. Which page is this? This page seems to be having some issues. The headline page is missing for some reason. So the headline RC page, let me just comment it for now. And I will toggle a block comment. Oh geez, somewhere here. I really want to see it from the RoleCenter side. Come on. So my understanding of how Business Central works with the RoleCenter and all that is what has enabled me to maybe just use a less prompt. But a prompt will work well with a plan. First of all, you create tables, and then you confirm that all the tables that have been created are actually working as expected based on what you want. After creating the tables, then you can go ahead and create the pages, and then now implement the pages. So let me see if I have the band manager. Very good. The band manager is there. I'll click OK. Getting ready. So this is the band manager RoleCenter. And if I go to the home page, okay, we have the bookings with the upcoming bookings and definitely upcoming sessions, next practice, active members that are members that are on leave. Okay, like almost something really comprehensive. And okay, look at this. Look at this. How long will it take you if you really needed to build this application? If you wanted to build it from scratch, let's go to the bookings, for example. What are the bookings? New, create a new booking. What is the booking number, the client ID, the booking date, and all this? Even giving me really detailed detailed groupings, because if I was to do it, I don't know if I could have gone to this level. You confirm the booking or you cancel the booking, you create a practice session for that, practice management, new practice session, band management, all this. So the advice here is to do the hard work in terms of validating the initial model that has been generated, because that model is the determinant of the resultant pages, resultant role centers, or resultant information that uh, the final model will generate for you, because it's basing on what you're giving it, basing on what context that you're giving it, and then you can basically create an extension within a day, and then maybe now aligning it, creating reports, testing it, and test cases, and maybe you can have now creating you can now create the test app. So my big question for test enthusiasts is, how now, when the models or the agentic framework becomes more and more accurate, do we really need to focus too much on tests? Because the testing, of course, the tests will be there and they'll be generated with the models themselves. But I feel like now the need for having someone to create the tests will be less and less needed, because the models will automatically, even we can use the test driven development when we start with the tests, and then we go now and create the application. So this is the edit mode, really powerful. It modifies your code, and if you're maintaining a code base, be very careful with the edit mode. Confirm everything. And another uh, if it's a big code unit, you can tell it, because sometimes Claude, or specifically the Claude model, can go ahead and modify what you don't want. So you can use, either you select the area that has an issue that you want it to update and you tell it to only update that part, or you can go ahead and, instead of editing everything or leaving the model to edit everything for you, you can like give it context for it to make better decisions. Otherwise, it can destroy your code base without information about what is happening and why you are doing whatever you're doing. So we are going to agent mode in the next video. So I will see you in that video.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so that you don't miss the next one.